Hello everyone, it's Kathy Champion and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we're going to cover a question that was posed to me, and I thought if this girl, it was actually one of the girls that's under me, had a question about the pretty perennials and about the dies and lining everything up. So I thought maybe somebody else out there is having that same dilemma and having some problems. So before we get started, I'm going to try to answer questions and show you a few tips and tricks on how to make this stamp set and die set work for you. But before we get started, I like to always remind everyone of my host code for March the 1st through the 15th. So we have until a week from this coming Monday to use this host code, and then a new one will come into play. So for this particular time, because March is a long month, I didn't want the host code to expire. Normally these are good for 30 days, but this month, because we do have 31 days, I decided I would kind of break it up, and I might do that from now on and maybe have my host code run for 2 weeks and then 2 more weeks, and maybe even sometimes 3 weeks and then 3 weeks, but we'll see how it goes and we'll go from there. But this is our host code through the 15th, and on the 16th, which will be on a Tuesday, I will actually come out with a new host code, and then that one will be the one that will be good to use. I hope it doesn't confuse anybody, but we're hoping that's going to work better. But if you use that host code through this month, either of the 2 host codes, you will be entered into the drawing to win the free Darling Donkey stamp set. And for anybody that does not know what that is, it is so stinking cute. Here is the Darling Donkeys, and this was a celebration item, but celebration is over now. These are gone for good, but I did obtain a couple of extras as a giveaway. So hopefully you will make a purchase in my store. Any dollar amount will put you in the drawing for this stamp set. So go shop and you'll be in the drawing. But now if you spend $50 or more and use that host code, you will receive a free gift from me at the end of the first of the following month. So in fact, I just mailed out my gifts and prizes and things for this month just this week. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get down to business with this stamp set, because I want anybody that purchases from me or any of my girls that buy something from Stampin' Up, I want to make sure that everybody understands how to use it. And I'm going to show y'all how I did this. I grabbed my Stamparatus, and if anybody's not familiar with I've got some new people that have just started shopping from me, and they are new paper crafters. So I'm probably going to do maybe a little class on beginner type issues so that I can kind of address those. But for anyone that has picked up this pretty perennial stamp set, it is adorable. It has a very whimsical look to the flowers, but there is a little bit of a learning curve. If you notice any stamp that has all of these petals on it, let me peel this off. Any stamp set that has petals like this, and it has a die, which this one does, you are going to find that sometimes you are having difficulty lining that up. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to stamp. Let me grab a piece of white cardstock. Let's just grab this. This will work. This is just a little scrap I was working with earlier today. And yeah, that'll work. Now, if you noticed, I put a dot at the top of my stamp. I used a Sharpie marker. Does not hurt your stamps, but this is ingenious, and I'm going to show you how. Take a piece of scrap cardstock and put it in your stamping apparatus, whether it's a Stamparatus or whatever stamping platform you have. I do love, if you are investing in a Stamparatus or any type of stamping platform, I highly recommend this one. It is so versatile. It comes with the foam mats that come out, and you can also use it for your cling stamps. You have hinge doors that will literally come off where you can reposition them to stamp down if you want to come down your page with a stamp, you have two doors, one that can go up here and one that can go here, where you can do two-step stamping very easily back and forth without having to change your pieces off every time. Move your stamps. You can put them on one time, and here's the other door. So you have one door that goes this way and one that goes this way, so you can very easily stamp back and forth and just move your paper in and out. Such ingenious, again, Stampin' Up, and y'all will hear me say this until forever. Stampin' Up thinks of everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything. Your Stamparatus comes with two very, very strong magnets. In fact, if you buy one of these, take my heed and do not let these two magnets come in contact with each other. They are so strong that they will break, and mine broke right in half, both of them. So I wrapped them in washi tape. I put a little handle on it so that I could pull it up and down very easily, and it works. I did buy two more magnets, so if these ever do fall apart, I've got a spare set. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and pick this up, and this is the magic of the Stamparatus. Just pick up your stamp. I am going to take my stamp case and put up underneath it just to give me that little bit of cushion. And I'm going for this one, I'm going to grab Highland Heather. I did one earlier and I'm going to show you what I did, but this one I think I'm going to do in Highland Heather. And I'm just going to ink it up really good, and we're going to stamp. Now the good thing about a stamp positioner, you get more than one chance to get a good image. So if you wanted that darker, just come back in and ink it and then press it back down. Ingenious, huh? I love it. Now see how much darker that is? So now if you want to come back with a piece of Highland Heather cardstock, you could do that and you would have that darker image right there, which would be so pretty. Alright. I am going to use, and this is my nasty old Simply Chamois, and this is how I clean my stamps. Now I have a stamping scrub and I use that too, but when I'm working with my Stamparatus, I will leave my stamp on, and I'm going to lift this one up, and I'm going to put the other one on. Because if I wanted to come back and stamp again on top of this, I could load up a middle. So say, for example, we wanted to come in, which I don't because I want to show y'all something. So I'll tell you what, let me show you what I want to show you, and then we'll come back and show that stamping. If you noticed, I have a dot on my die, just like I did my stamp. Let me bring my stamp back over here. And you see how I have that little dot right there? And I did the same thing here. And you know why I did that? I know that if I put this die over top of this, just like that, it is going to cut perfectly every time. So let's go ahead and run this through the die machine. I'm going to grab my little post-it flags. Y'all know I love these for putting over my pieces before I cut them. And let's put this right here. We need to move that magnet because we don't need it. And now I'm just going to lay this into my die cut machine, and I'm going to run it through. And here we go. Here's my sandwich. I'm going to lay that there, put this back there, and let's put this here. Now I'm just going to very easily take my little flags off. And I always go gently because you don't want to tear your cardstock, but those are the best things that you can use. And if you notice, we have a perfectly cut image with our border all the way around it. Now, I love that. I think it does beautifully by doing it like that. And let me show you something else. Say, for example, what I do is I will keep one of these. I actually have one that's smaller, so I'm going to use the one I already did. Here's one that I did earlier. So I will keep this template, and I'll show you. I had played with the stamp on that side, but I'm going to show you about the template. This is considered now a template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil, And I'm just going to write right here, top. So I'll know that that's the top of my flower. So whenever I need to stamp that flower somewhere, I can move it wherever on my paper. So say for example, let me grab a piece of cardstock. I gotta dig down in my pile to get a cardstock, a piece of already cut cardstock, and I think this will work. Let's say that I wanted this flower right here, right there on that corner. I could hold this here, take my stamp, and I am going to unmount it off of here. I can take the stamp off now, and I know that that spot right there is the top. So all I would need to do is put that down right there and lift this off from around it. Leave that up in the corner, pick my stamp up, leaving my paper all the way up to the corner, and then I know that stamp is going to stamp right there on that corner. So I'm going to grab, let's do a Poppy Parade. This is a beautiful, very, very vibrant. It's not the real red. This has more of an orangey hue to it than our real red, but it's so pretty. So we're going to do a red flower. And how about that? We want it a little darker. Just ink it again and stamp it. This way you can position your flowers wherever you want them. So let's say we wanted another one, but we want it up in the other corner. Well, the easiest way to do that would be to flip your paper, just like that, and stamp it right there. But let's say we wanted another one right here, kind of overlapping that one. Again, we would grab our template. What did I do with it? Right here. And let's say we wanted it to come right about there. Right about there. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put my magnet down on my paper. I'm going to grab the top of the stamp, making sure that that top is right where the top is on there. And I'm going to pick it up. Your template. And I would, this is not made out of the heavy duty cardstock. I would suggest to do this out of the basic white thick. But you can always make another one if you need to. Pick it up. And say we wanted this one to be yellow. So now we can come in with our Daffodil Delight. Beautiful, bright, springy yellow. And now we're going to stamp that right there. And we're going to ink it again. Again, I love being able to re-ink. And I got some on my door, but you don't have to worry about that because it's not going to press onto your cardstock. I do clean it off because that's just me, but you don't have to. You can literally leave it on there. It's not going anywhere, but I do wipe it off when I wipe my stamp. Just because I like to be clean, and I will definitely get my fingers in ink if there's any way humanly possible. I will stick my fingers in ink every time. I'm going to go ahead and close this ink pad before I put my arm or my hand in it. So now we got two pretty flowers. Okay, in our dies, not only do we have the outline to cut these out. Oops, did I drop? Maybe it was this one. This is the outline that cuts the flower out, but I also have this little detailed die, and this piece is used as an overlay, and an overlay does this. You basically can make it where it outlines your stamped flower. So let's cut something pretty. This one right here, I think I want to do Poppy Parade, and this one I want to do Daffodil Delight. I think it'd be cute like that. So I'm going to look into my cardstock, and I've got a scrap of Poppy Parade, and we're going to need a Daffodil Delight. And let's see if I got scraps of it. I always keep my scraps, and I don't know if that will fit. Let's see if that'll fit on there. Sure will. I always keep my scraps in with my colors so that it's easy for me to find exactly what I'm looking for. And look at the coordination of our inks and our papers. Look at that. And this. I mean, Stampin' Up! Makes everything so simple with our paper crafting. I love it because I never have to search for that piece of paper that's going to match my ink, or that ink that's going to match my paper. And the same thing with my any of my designer series paper. At a glance, I will know what inks and what papers will go with this. Now look how cute this little flower is that it punched out. And all of those little pieces just fall out. They, that's one thing about the Stampin' Up! Dies that are so beautiful. And then what you're going to have to do is figure out which petal these go on. And that can be a little bit daunting too. But you just move it around until you get it like you want it, and that looks really good to me. So we can put that down. I'm going to throw these little pieces away. And we're also going to cut a piece out of the Poppy Parade. So I'm going to grab my die and just lay it on here. Now I'm not putting these down or you know, anything, because I'm not outlining anything. I'm not cutting out a stamped image. And it doesn't matter if it moves a little bit, it's still going to cut. So I'm just going to run this through. And here we go. Here's our little piece. And there's our, and see, this time it stayed in the die. But if you just drop your die like that, it will pop right out and no problem. And look at that. But we're not done. But wait, as they say in those crazy infomercials that we all love to hate, I am going to pop these up, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. The mini stamping dimensionals, oops, and they're right here, they work perfect for this because they're tiny. And if you need to maneuver them, you can take your pick tool, which y'all know how much I love this thing, and all you're going to do is pull off one of these little mini dimensionals. Aren't they cute? look how tiny it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to just lay that down right in the middle of our flower, and then we're going to take the backer, the little backer that protects the sticky part, and then we are going to come in here, and let's see, I think I want it to fall right about here. And we got that, and we're going to do the same thing for this one. But we're not done. We're going to put something else over top of that because we got lots of options. This stamp and die set gives us so many options. Okay, and this one's already has the sticky off of it, so I'm just going to sit it down. And then again, I'm going to kind of work this one around where I think it needs to go. And I think it's probably something like that. And that's so pretty. So now I'm going to look at my dies again, and we've got several options here. I know I dropped one a while ago, but I don't know which one it was. Okay, we have this little piece that we could put in. We have this little piece, which is, I think, identical to that. And we got this little burst. It looks like a little sunburst. I love that over top of this. I think it just lends itself to being so pretty. So I am going to go back, and I think I'm gonna cut it out of both colors because I'm not sure which color I like and which one I want to use where. But I'm going to put this down right here, and I am going to put a one of my little post-it notes or tabs over it so that it doesn't move on me, because I am trying to make use of that little tiny piece up there on the top. Getting the most out of my scrap as I possibly can. can see when I take this off, it's not here. It's gone, but it is laying on my cut plate. So we're just going to take our fingernail and go under the edge of it, take it off, and this one can go here or here. And I think I like it on the red on red. I like it like that better. So I'm going to take this piece of cardstock and I'm going to lay that die. What did I do with it? Well, y'all, you know I had it just a minute ago. And I'm sure I laid it down amongst all my mess. And y'all know how messy I am. When I'm crafting, it's sort of like when I'm cooking. I make a mess. But, you know, as long as the dish comes out good and as long as the crafting comes out good, it's okay, right? I think so. Here it is. I knew I laid it somewhere. So I am going to take this piece and run it back through. And my top plate, what did I do with my, there it is. Y'all, I'm so miscombobulated today. Goodness gracious. You could very easily use take your pick tool, but we're going to put this one right here. Now, to put that on, I'm going to use some glue. And yes, I'm working right on over my Stamparatus because I can. Let's see if this one comes up. Yep. And let's put a little bit of glue there and glue that down. And glue this one down. And how pretty is that? Now you're ready. If you wanted to, you could put another one. We could do some leaves. We could stamp some leaves. So let's look at the stamp set again. We also have the smaller flower. I wanted to show you that one as well. And let's grab our stamp set. And we've got this word happy, and I love it because it's big and it's beautiful and it's bold. And we could put that like right here. Move that up so it doesn't move on you. I'll tell you what, let's move this over away from the hinge just a little bit. I think I'm going to bring it right to that line. Put my magnet down. And we're going to do happy right there. But I think I want happy in black. I want it to really pop. And what's great about the Stamparatus, let's take that one off. We're not going to do the small one yet. I'm going to show you how to line that up and make a template. So you'll know how to do this, because I know the other one I'd already done, and I reserved this one so I could show you how to do it. But let's just go ahead, and I'll set this card to the side. This is going to be a card front. I still have some other things I want to do on it, but it's definitely, if y'all hear the snoring in the background, that's Bella. It's always my little Bella. She's my snorer. Oh, don't get me wrong, Toby can snore too with the best of them, but when you do this, you just want to give this a good press. It's not going to move or go anywhere, so press it really. Oh, that turned out really good, but I do have a little bit of lightness right there, so I am going, and this is a nice bold image. I want it to be crisp black. Let's do that one more time. Is that not gorgeous? Look how pretty those flowers are. Stamped, die cut. Now we could very easily die cut these out, and we could also fussy cut the word happy out and pop everything up. So if you wanted, we've got this dimensional on these. What you would have needed to do was cut these first. But I wanted something that was going to fall right here on my card. And I love that. I just want to put some leaves on it. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Let me show you exactly how. Let's clean this off just a bit. And the Stampin' Chamois or the Simply Chamois, is the best thing in the world to clean your stamps on your Stamparatus. Now you can come back in with your Stampin' Scrub, and for anyone that doesn't know what a Stampin' Scrub is, let me grab mine and I'll show you. I think a lot of you know that's been following me for any period of time, because you know that I love this thing, because you can literally, it's big, it opens, you got two sides, and this is almost like a Velcro, and or Velcro. My husband always corrects me. You can spray your stamp cleaner on one side, and you have little raindrops in one corner that says that's your wet side, and you've got a little sunshine right here that tells you that this is your dry side. So what you can do is clean and dry your stamps. So when you use a stamp cleaner like our Stampin' Mist, it does soap up a little bit, but it cleans your stamps so well. And then after you clean them, you come over here and you just rub them off, and they are perfectly clean and ready to go again. Love, love, love my Stampin' Scrub. But when you're working with this, the Stampin' Scrub doesn't work, and that's when I really grab for my it's stained. It's not dirty, it's just stained. So when you get yours, it will not look like this, believe me. It will look more like this. This is a newer one, and I've just got a little tiny bit of ink on each side. But the new one will not look like my old one. So that's just a well-loved Stampin' Chamois. All right, now getting back to what I wanted to show you, we're going to go ahead and put another piece of paper, cardstock, into your Stamparatus or whatever positioning tool you are using. And I'm going to just lay this down like that. And before I do, let me grab my little die. As you can see, here's our dies, and they're called Perennial Petal dies. And it does coordinate, and you can buy this in a bundle. This was nested inside there, and this one is nested inside the small one. So what you want to do before you even stamp or cut or anything, you want to lay your stamp down and just kind of move it around and see which is the best fit. That looks really good right there. So we're going to call this a fit. So what I'm going to do, while I know that they go like this, I am going to take my Sharpie. Maybe I don't want to do it over the cardstock. I can do the stamp. I'm going to just put a line just like that. That lets me know that's my top. I am going to take this off of my white cardstock because I would write on it. This one I'm going to make a line on my die, and I like using the Sharpie because that way it doesn't go away. Once that dries, that's going to stay on there. So now I have those marked. So now I can stamp away, stamp to my heart's content, but I'm going to make a template. Now that I know which way this goes, I'm going to bring this over right about there, and I'm going to put my magnet back down. I'm going to pick that stamp up, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it. It doesn't matter what color you use. Let's do Poppy Parade again, since we were already working with these colors. Close that ink pad back up because I'm only going to stamp this once. Stamp it down because we really don't care about the quality of the image that much. Not right now. So let me get my chamois out again. And if this gets where it's not wet enough, I keep a spray bottle, one of these, and I just take it over to the side away from whatever I'm working on, and I just wet it a little bit. Just water, just plain old water, and then it's ready again to clean up my stamps. Now these photopolymer stamps do stain, so if you use the inks and they turn out a little bit reddish, they're not dirty, they're fine, they are just loved. That's what I always say. A stained stamp is a love stamp. So now what's going to make this so easy, we're going to put this on just like that. And I'm going to use one of my little flags just to get that down where I want it. And now I'm going to take maybe one more. Some of my flags are ready to go to the file 13, better known as the trash can. I'm going to put that down on my cut plate. And I'm going to, let's turn it around so it goes in first. There we go. And I'm just going to think this through. And now we have done two things. We've cut a flower and we've made a template. So remember how I showed you a while ago how you can position your template? Very perfectly cut flower. All of the Stampin' Up dies are always going to leave you a beautiful little white border around, which is exactly what you want. And see, I told y'all I'd get ink on me. I always do. But now with this marked and with our stamp marked, we will never ever have to worry about what's the top and what's the bottom, where's the side. The same with this one. That's our larger stamp. And it's just a good rule of thumb when you first get a stamp set and you start to play with it, find your top, find your area, and then make yourself a template like this. Now, how I'm going to work this template is this. And you might want to do that with your leaves as well. It just makes it so easy. I'm just going to take my trimmer and I'm going to bring this to about there, and I'm going to trim that off. Yeah, I could have done it with my scissors, but I didn't want it to be wonky. I wanted it to be a nice little piece. Now, you see I didn't mark what was top and what was bottom. So I'm going to lay this back over top and see how it lines up. When it falls into the grooves, okay, that's it right there. It fell into the groove, so now I know that this is my top. So again, I'm going to take my little pencil and I'm going to write top, just like that. And these two templates are going to go into my stamp set. So what I'll do is I'll put these right here. You can see I have some masking where I had masked these stamps, and I just stick that right there in the top. This is going to go right here, and then my stamp set is going to go right back where it came from. So I'm going to put this down as best I can get it, and then that's going to go right there. And these templates will be in there, so next time I use the stamp set, I will not have any problems knowing where I need to stamp and where I need to cut and which way does the die go. And I certainly hope that that technique has helped y'all. One of the most frustrating things in crafting is to not be able to get things to line up the way you want them to. So I'm hoping that this helped someone out there, anyone, and we will come back and revisit this stamp set and make something pretty with it, because it is a gorgeous stamp set and die set. I love it. I love playing with it. And if you have not picked up this, you can get this in a bundle for 10% off. So you do save 10% if you bundle the stamps with the dies or any stamp and punch set. So when it's a bundle, you're going to get the stamps along with either or punch or dies. So, and you always save 10% by doing that. And I hope that y'all enjoyed this. It was so much fun, and it did make me happy to play with this. And look, we could put one right there. We could put another one and tuck it around. Get some little leaves coming out from the side, and the possibilities are endless, y'all. So have fun crafting. And as I always say in closing, let everything you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He's so worthy. Y'all be good. Be happy, be blessed. I love you all. And until we craft again, bye-bye.